I've loved music for about as long as I can remember. And yeah, I know that's a stupid way to start, but it's true. Some of my oldest memories involve dancing around my room to Hannah Montana and Weird Al Yankovic. In grades 4 through 6, I sang in my elementary school talent shows. In 6th grade, I joined the school band and started playing the trumpet. But I didn't really start to branch out until about 8th grade. That winter, I started to play piano. And that summer, I started to play bass guitar. I was also in the junior high production of Schoolhouse Rock Live.
But the biggest change that I made that year involves this.
What were your initial thoughts when I told you I was going to audition for choir?
Oh, I thought that was a good idea. I like for my kids to be involved. I thought you'd probably like it. I thought you had a good chance getting in. Can read music.
So early on in 8th grade, I decided to try out for the after-school select choir. Because even though I'd always loved to sing, I never really knew if I was actually good at it. So I figured, hey, if I made it in, then I'm actually decent at it. And if I don't, well then hey, no harm, no foul. I guess I know now. I also had a few good friends joining, so I figured it would be a good opportunity to hang out with them.
I continued with choir throughout all of 9th grade, too. It was actually a class this time, so I had it every day, which was awesome. It was second period, so it was still pretty early in the morning, but that didn't stop me from working hard. At first I was nervous because I was the only freshman in the bass section, but after a while I learned to have fun with it. Choir was definitely my favorite class last year.
And before I knew it, it was time for me to audition for this year's choir. Now, I was pretty nervous because auditions kind of skeeve me out, like they skeeve out, most people, but I felt like I did have a pretty good chance at making it into the top level choir, as I knew a lot of seniors in that group would be graduating. And I also felt like I was just getting better at reading music and singing in general. Mrs. Carpenter, the choir director, even told me during my audition that she wasn't really sure where to place me at that point. She was torn between putting me back in concert choir, which was the group I had just spent the previous year in, and putting me into chamber singers, the highest level choir.
Hey, have you guys heard the list was up?
The list is up!
I skimmed through most of the chamber singers list before I saw it. My name.
So I was obviously really excited, but I was also really nervous. Also, because I found out just before the choir concert, I was able to take note during that concert of how, really cool the music that they do is. But I also realized how incredibly difficult it must be to learn. One song in particular that they did at that concert, Lady in the Water by E. Barnum, I'll still go back and listen to sometimes, just because it sounds so beautiful. The melody is great, and the needle chords are just... I can't describe how many things I love about this song. But for a while I would listen to it and I would get really nervous just because I realized I had to get up to that level of performance. And I didn't know if I was ready for that. I didn't even know if I could do that. Forgive me if I don't explain this part very well. It's something I've never really had to verbally explicate. But the term wildcard started to bounce around in my head a lot around this time. And my main worry was that everybody would be thinking, as long as Colin doesn't mess this up, we'll be fine. And there's a good chance he will mess it up. I was really worried people were going to think like that. And I was even more afraid that that would be a legitimate concern. In that case, I would be sort of a wild card, as nobody would know if I would get it right and everything would go fine, or if I would get it wrong and everything would blow up.
It was largely because of these fears that I started to take private voice lessons, which have helped me in my ability to read music and just being able to sing well in general.
Chamber singers, though it's a lot of pressure, it's also really fun. The music we do is really hard, but there's a certain satisfaction you get when you get the music just right. I've also learned a lot from choir, whether it be music theory, like how to identify and analyze weird chords, or more general things like a good work ethic. Like, take this video. This is one of the first projects in a very long time that I haven't just put off until the last minute.
That's it. I hope you enjoyed it. A special thanks to Mr. and Mrs. Carpenter, Marilyn Zelker, my private voice teacher, Calvin DeLay for filming the reenactment of finding out I made it in the chamber singer scene, and to my mom for being the person I interviewed. See ya.